We're going to show you a few steps to start your dog on loose leash walking skills. It's really best to start this in the house. And if your dog isn't familiar with the leash, or you have a new puppy, a lot of times they're going to chew the leash, they're going to resist the leash. So that's a whole different process. And so you want to actually start this without a leash on. And I'll show you. This is Bella. She's a 5.5-month-old golden retriever. And I'm going to show you without the leash, and then I'll put it back on her. So I like to get dogs to walk on my left side. You can do the right. If you're just a pet dog owner, you're not going to do any competition work. It really doesn't matter. It's always, some people prefer dogs to do both left and right. But anyway, I prefer the left. So we're going to just go with that, okay? Whichever side you choose to have your dog walk on, you should work on the dog staying there. Now here's the thing. We're working on going to lay on the mat. That's why she's doing that. She's being so good. You want to feed your dog, have your treat pouch ready with really good food. And you want to feed the dog on the side, from the hand, on the side that the dog's walking on. So I'm going to use my left hand, because if I want the dog to walk on this side, let me show you Bella. See, I can keep her right here by my leg, right? Now, if I do it from the right side, watch what happens. Of course, she's being good, yes. But usually what happens is they're going to kind of swing around in front, and then you're going to trip on the dog. Or they have to reach over, or they will reach over to get it, and then they're in front of me. So I prefer to be able to just do this, because you can do it while you're walking. Now, she has been introduced to this, so she's pretty good at it. I will admit that. But really, it's just as easy as getting the food, being quick with your delivery, and giving it to them and feeding them in position. Good girl. So I'm just going to take a few baby steps and feed her while she's next to me. Sit. Good girl. Okay. Now, I'm going to put the leash on her. So you can walk around the house. Sorry, I'm going to back up a few more steps. So you can walk around your house and teach your dog which side you want them on, okay? And you can just do that. Now let's say the dog starts here. Most dogs actually start in front of us because we always train this way, sit, and we do it all right here. So the dog always stands right in front. So being on the side of you is difficult for them. So this is a little bit of footwork. And this is what I like to do. I like to go backwards. So the dog's in front of me. I'm going to lure her to the left side. And now she's on my left side. Yes, good girl. And then I'm not going to really allow her. So look, if I take too long, what happens? She goes in front. So if she does, I'm going to do my footwork again. If she's on my right side, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Yes, to get her on the left. So that may be, she does this a lot. She flips over here. So I'm just going to, there you go. That may be you just figuring it out, but try not to turn around and then have the dog on your right side and start rewarding there, because then you're kind of being inconsistent. So, and I want the dog to gravitate to the side that I want him to stay on while walking. Good girl. Good girl. So see, when I turn, I want her to turn with me, what she's doing. Good girl. Okay? Now, put the leash on. Oh, my sister. Okay. Those treats are sticky, sticky. So, this is how you should hold your leash. If it's on the left, then you're going to I put the loop over my right thumb. I have it drooped in front of my waist and loose, okay? And you can hold it with your hands too. But I don't want you to wrap it around your wrist and all this business. This is a biothane leash, so it's a little bit different material, so it doesn't really wrap around like a nylon. But I want there to be, it should like a letter J. Okay, so there should be a droop here, and you should be able to put one hand here and hold it if you need to. Not for jerking. We're not jerking. We want the dog to make as many decisions on their own as you can allow, or all of them really. And then we're just going to reward the behavior that we want. Yes, you're a good girl, aren't you? So, let me start back here so I can walk further closer to the camera. So here we go. Dog's twisted around me, right? Now what do? I'm going to turn around. Now, once you put the leash on, see, it's a little bit different. They pull out a little more, it's a little more difficult. But I have already taught her this exercise. Good girl. Good girl. And also, once you go outside, it's of course a little bit. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Okay. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Okay. All right. So that's how you can start it in the house. And obviously I'm just doing this small area just so I can show you on video because I don't have a cameraman. I am going to move it to outside and show you how you're going to transfer this outside. It's basically going to be the same thing. The big key factors are going to be a bunch of verbal feedback to your dog. While they're where they need to be, you need to talk to them, tell them, good dog, good dog, good dog. And in the beginning when you're doing this, I really like to give a lot of food because once your dog gets it, you can phase off of that food and use your verbal rewards and sporadically give food. And you can really get off of it quickly if you do it correctly. But in the beginning, I don't like people being stingy with the food. And when you do go outside, you need to use really high value food because being on the leash is very distracting. Things are outside are more distracting. So you need something really high value that's going to get your dog's attention and that they're going to really want to work for. Okay, so let's go outside and I'm going to set up my little camera studio out there for you to see. And then, excuse me, and then you can watch me do it out there. All right. Hold on, Belle. Let me set this up outside, Belle, and then I'll come get you, sister. She says, wait a minute. Sorry. At least you know it's raw video. Okay. Set my little chair up. Set my little camera up. Let me go grab her. Okay, so now you can see distractions. Sniff, 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 normal dog stuff. I want it, yes, good girl. So I want to really get their attention. So I really start feeding a bunch, and it's one rapid fire, which is called high rate of reinforcement. Good girl, good girl, good girl. Now I'm going to start walking. Good girl. It's a good girl. Good girl. Now, I like to do a bunch of turns because it doesn't give them the opportunity to pull out in front of me. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to go further down the driveway and watch how many turns I do. Sometimes I'm going to do things like this, like when they get really distracted and pull out, I'm going to walk backwards. Good girl. Good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Good girl. Good girl. And I like to teach them to sit next to me when I stop. Yes, good girl. And you can easily do this by having your treat ready. Sit. Yes, good girl. And you stop and have him sit as you stop your feet. So watch, I'll show you down, walking in the middle of a walk, you can watch me do it. Yes, good girl. I'd like her to be a little more to my left, but that's okay right now. We can fix that later. Yeah, that's a good girl. Okay, so those are some phases that you can take to do some leash work.